All right, so we have, how's our heat coming on this thing?
We're at 500 degrees, slightly over.
Yeah, just a simple question. Have you ever dropped this thing in your foot or anything like that?
Regularly, we get burned, unfortunately, as much as you'd like to try. Sometimes you're in very tight quarters, and you don't get burned very bad, but you definitely get burned occasionally.
Will this thing cook a hot dog?
Oh, it will cook more than a hot dog at 500 degrees, let me tell you.
I was just thinking if you used it for like heating your soup or something.
Yeah, no, we've never used it to cook anything other than the occasional arm.
Oh, okay. All right, so here we go.
Okay, coming in. So.
Now you hold it for 30 seconds to make sure that it fused together.
Is that not hot?
The cold ring here takes all the heat actually. As because it's cold, it sucks the heat from here into this ring and it doesn't let it spread down the pipe. So the outside of the plastic is relatively cool. In a few minutes when the heat gets through it, it'll be a little warmer. That's why you gotta give it a little bit of time before you start moving it around.
So you don't have any kind of like a lubricant or anything that you put around it to go?
No, it's the actual plastic itself is melting on each side, and then when we push them together, they actually blend all into one piece of pipe. That fitting will be stronger where the fitting is than the actual pipe itself was. So here we're gonna give you a chance to see, well, we cut one apart. All right, so. You can see the end of the pipe where it was put together. There's a little bit of a roll. That's just enough so that you know that it was a good fusion. Give me a second to cut this apart here. If you look down the edges here, the real key is you can't see where the two pieces of pipe. Unfortunately, you can see a little bit of a scratch from where I cut it, but there's no defining line between the two materials because it becomes solid as one.
So it melts together as one.
100% together, so there's no chances of a leak. You have an overlap that's about an inch, 3/4 to an inch, and there's no way that it'll ever be able to leak out of that fitting.
50-year fitting. It'll outlast me.
Yes. Yeah, in the old days we said 50 years on all fusions. Nowadays we can actually offer up to 100 years, but every day that the pipe goes in the ground, the warranty gets longer because we only have, with the testing so far, no failures at all. So, other than the occasional person digging it up.
Tomorrow you're going to come out, you're going to fuse all of the slinkies together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel so good now in getting all the lingo down, you know. But anyway, you're going to fuse all these together, 50 of those, and then the bulldozer comes in, that covers it. You're going up 6 feet.
Yeah, it'll be 6 feet. To the ground we're standing on right now, there'll be 6 feet, or that loop is 6 feet down. But we're actually going to be having 6 feet of fill brought in on top because of in Richmond with the water, or the water table, in order for flooding, this building has to be brought up 6 feet from the original grade at which it was on. So that loop ends up at 12 feet deep.
So this house, this is an interesting thing. Take a look at this. That hedge over there, the house will be about at the level of that house. You know, the foundation will be at about the level of that hedge, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
You have an area where you're going to house all of the equipment that feeds into this.
Certainly, we have a mechanical room that's just off the back of the house. So all these lines will be brought into the mechanical room, and from that mechanical room we go into our forced air systems and our water systems for the water for the radiant and our forced air for air conditioning, and it's distributed amongst the home.
Any noise to that building?
Ductwork properly installed should have no noise, and the radiant should have no noise. The equipment room itself will have some noise. Now a properly insulated mechanical room, properly located mechanical room, that should have no problems with being in your environment of your home. If you put your mechanical room right beside your master bedroom, that may be a bit of an issue, but our equipment is I would say 10 times quieter than what it's been in past, but the most common homeowner reflection back to me is it's the same hum if you listened inside your house and you heard your fridge come on. It's not an obtrusive noise, but it's that hum. That hum will be heard for some distance if it's not insulated properly, the mechanical room, but at no point in time is it actually obtrusive and super loud, but there's definitely a distinction to a compressor noise that's different than what you have to get used to a little bit.
Okay, so after tomorrow, it's covered up, you run some wires. When are you back on the job site?
We won't be back probably for another month and a half, because it's going to take them some time to get all this dirt back on and to get some foundations ready. But once they've got the foundations ready, we'll then bring these lines into the building, into where the mechanical room will be located. And at that point in time, we wait until they've got their foundations complete, and then we actually switch on to underground ductwork. And nowadays they say, and again, I'm not the guys making up the numbers, but they say that a house with geothermal in it is actually worth 10% more than a house without geothermal. Where we live, 10% of a house cost is probably 50% higher than the system I'm about to sell you. So again, you'd be chopping your own foot off not to install geothermal.
Well, there you go, Barry. You've been doing this, what,
22 years, I think.
So really, in a big sense, in this area, you're a pioneer. I mean, you came in when a little bit risky because it was expensive and kind of the high-end type of thing, but you've been able to stay with it. And now, my goodness, you got all these jobs going and things are looking really good. So here's the deal. If you have any questions on geothermal and that type of thing, no matter what they are, if Barry doesn't know, he'll find out.
You certainly bet that. Yeah, if I don't know the answer, we can definitely get to the people that do.
Yeah. So there you go, and it's a great system. I'm learning a lot about it as I go along, and that's what we're doing on the Energy Channel here. We're trying to give you an idea of what's happening as far as current things that people are putting into their homes, and geothermal is definitely a way to go. If I was building a house, after what I've seen here, I would definitely be giving Barry a call and saying, hey, let's get this done.
Well, that sounds great, and not only would you be happy with the installation at which you had, later on you would end up with money for having installed it.
And that works for me. If I'm saving money, that works for me. All right, for the Energy Channel, this is Doug Coy on location today. Beautiful sunny day in Richmond. Can you believe it? After yesterday's rain.
Yes, it was terrible yesterday, but it's making up for it today.
Yeah, they came back today. So here we go, and we'll take you through this whole process. We'll come back again at the next level. And any questions you have, like I said, go ahead, send them in, and we'll give them to Barry, and we'll get them answered for you. Have a great day.